Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stand. Oh no, he stood up. What does it mean? It just means I'm standing up. It's not that big a deal in relation to we haven't signed Ugarte yet. But what we have got is personal terms agreed for Scott McTominay with Napoli. What does that mean for Amrabat? Also, Fabrizio Romano saying that Pellistri is very close to a move as well. A quick afternoon update. There's not long left in the transfer window. Get your thoughts in the comments as well. Are you sad to see Pellistri go, or is he doing the right thing for his career? We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's get into what Corriere dello Sport is saying, that Scott McTominay has agreed personal terms with Napoli, but they need to sell to buy, and Osman has been mentioned again. And yes, Neres has signed for Napoli. Why didn't they go for McTominay first? Who knows? But interestingly, what we're getting from the training ground or sources or whatever you want to call it is that McTominay is certainly open to leaving Manchester United. He wants to play football. He doesn't see a pathway to the first team anymore. And actually, with that knowledge, which we shared with you about a week ago, when you watch the Xerxes goal go in, watch it back again. Scott McTominay is there to celebrate with him. Just watch his body language. He's not not happy, but Scott McTominay, when Man United score a goal, doesn't react like that. Like he doesn't react badly, but he's just sort of like, it's a last minute. Well, it's not last minute. It's a last 10-minute winner against Fulham on the opening day. And McTominay's there to congratulate him, but it's not the normal McTominay. It's not the normal, fist pumping the crowd and everything like that. So, look, I think you can tell by the body language that, it's not the same McTominay as last season. And maybe he realises that this new United doesn't involve him in it. The interesting thing we're also hearing is that this could be a pathway to Amrabat as well, because Manchester United, if McTominay goes, Eriksen's not played a minute yet. Eriksen could be going too. They would bring two midfielders in. But also interesting, the third part of what we're hearing is that Ten Hag is actually one of the bigger factors for keeping McTominay. It's actually Ineos and the structure that they've put in place with Barada and Ashworth, who are saying that McTominay does need to go, because if we want to bring Ugarte in and if we want to bring Amrabat back, then we do need to move a midfielder on. And the only one who has value at the moment is Scott McTominay. Eriksen going will allow them to bring Amrabat in, but to bring Ugarte in, McTominay is the only one at the moment who has any value. And the way Ineos are looking at it is that they want to make Man United better. And they value Scott McTominay. He is very well liked within the club. But if you want Ugarte, someone's got to go. And therefore, it has to be McTominay. You can't have your cake and eat it, Eric. And that is very much the stance at the moment. So, Ineos, what are your thoughts on that? They're the ones saying, look, if you want Ugarte, McTominay's got to go. You got McTominay saying, well, I want to play football and I think I'm ready to go. But then you got Ten Hag, who's resisting it a little bit, going, we'd like to keep him around. Now, I understand why Ten Hag wants to keep him around, because he scored some goals last season. And it is a safety blanket off the bench to have that. Of course, I get that. And it is normal for managers to not really want to get involved in these conversations where I've got to give that up to get that. A manager is always going to be selfish. They're going to say, just give. I want. So look, this is the change from last year. I think last year that offer was on the table for McTominay. It was a good offer from West Ham. McTominay was a bit uncertain. Ten Hag clearly was happy to keep him. It never happened. I think that's the change this year. We've actually got a structure that's saying, hold on a minute, Eric, look, I understand why you want to keep him, but you also want Ugarte. You clearly need a holding midfielder. You can't not have a holding midfielder to keep Scott, who's an attacking midfielder. You've already got the likes of Mount, Bruno. There's other players that can play that role. Xerxes can play that role. You need a holding midfielder. You've got to let McTominay go. And that's where the structure works well. And this is where people got it wrong before, where they said Ten Hag won't have any say in transfers. Ineos will be in control. This is a prime example of what reality is. Last season, McTominay doesn't go. Last season, we don't get a midfielder until Amrabat at the end of the window. This season, you've got Ineos saying, look, you want Ugarte, there has to be a player that goes out. And when you look at it, McTominay's not going to start games. He's got value. He actually is thinking about going. That's the deal we're going to do, Eric. And it's that little pushing. It's that little bit of compromise, which really is a big change at United. So, look, let's see what happens. I'm expecting McTominay to go. I hope Fulham come back into the equation, because I think they could do with a player like McTominay, and they've got the money, so it'd be an easier deal to do. Napoli is obviously turning heads. I mean, look, if I'm Scott McTominay, I quite fancy Fulham. London's a lovely place. I quite fancy Napoli. Naples is a nice place. So he's got a good couple of options there. What we haven't got is a load of time. And hopefully, I think we'll see some movement on that this week. As I said, I think with Amrabat, keep your eyes peeled on him. Eriksen is the key here. We've got a show tonight where we're going to go through where we're at with all the transfers, about 11 deals to talk about. Eriksen will be one of those. But if he goes, then I think that allows Amrabat to come in as well. And I would say, I mean, look, we're not there yet. But if we could have a midfield roster of Casemiro, Ugarte, Amrabat, Collier, you've got 4 players that can cover the 6 and the 8 there. And you've still got Mainu, Mount, Bruno. I like that. Casemiro, Ugarte, Amrabat, Mainu, Bruno, Mount, and then Collier is the young option. I'm very happy with that. Eriksen and McTominay go out the door. I'd be very happy with that indeed. I think Casemiro's only staying because we couldn't sell him to Saudi, but sometimes things take a twist and a turn and actually work out better. I mean, the wage will be the problem for Ineos there, but, you know, there we go. Also, Fabrizio has just dropped it in the last hour that Pellistri is in advanced talks with Panathinaikos of Greece. We know that Bologna are interested, and in a completely, I'm looking at your career, this would be a good move. Bologna is a better move. It's a better club in the Champions League, in the Italian league, which is better than the Greek league. I want your comments on Pellistri. Is it a good deal for him? Is he right to go? I like Pellistri. I don't think he's been given a fair crack of the whip. I really, really don't. I think if Pellistri was at a different Premier League club, and it's difficult to predict which one, because he's not going to start for Man City, is he? He's not going to start for Liverpool. He's not going to start for Arsenal either. So you've got to get realistic. But, you know, he's probably not going to get... I think there are Premier League clubs that he could, given a run of games, really show what he's all about. But his career, I feel sorry for him in a way. He plays regularly for Uruguay. I think there's a player there. He just doesn't seem to make the right moves. Man United was the wrong move. And, you know, that was Solskjaer panicking because he didn't get Sancho. We ended up with Ahmad and Pellistri instead. But I mean, Panathinaikos he'll play regularly, but I think he's better than that. And I don't want to disrespect the Greek league, but I think he's better than that. And hopefully that will be a stepping stone for him, because the most important thing is that he needs to play football. Is it right that we sell him? Well, actually, yes, because I've always said that Ten Hag clearly doesn't hold him in high esteem. He's never really given him a chance as much as he's given Rashford or Anthony or even Sancho, if we think about it, over the last 2 years. And certainly he's not held in the same breath as Garnacho and Ahmad as, you know, players coming through. So Pellistri's just never been to Ten Hag's liking. I don't think that's bad on Pellistri, and I don't think it's bad on Ten Hag. I just don't think they're not compatible, are they, as player and a coaching style. So he's absolutely right to leave Man United. You can't stay at Man United because some of the fans like you. He's 7th choice winger. I mean, he will be behind Sancho. Is he 7th? Garnacho, Rashford, Ahmad, Anthony, 6th. He's 6th choice winger. Of course he's got to go. He's got to go. I think it's sad. I think other people at the club who will end up not being good enough have had way more chances than him. But the manager must manage, and the manager must do what he wants to do, and he must be backed upon that. And part of football is that sometimes the manager that you want to do well doesn't like the player that you like. And I think that's what's happened there. So I think Pellistri does need to go. He was always going to go. And this time, obviously, it's going to be a permanent deal. And it will happen in the next few days, whether it's this week or next week before the deadline. So, be interesting to see what money we get for him. We do well to get what we paid, actually. I think we paid 5 million, didn't we? So, yeah, it's been all in all, that's been a bad deal for everybody. It's not been a good deal for Pellistri. He's been here, there and everywhere. The positive for him is that he's played regularly for Uruguay. But from a Manchester United point of view, we've completely misused that talent and we never should have bought it, which is a shame because I think he's a decent player. And I think if he'd been at the right club, appreciated, he would have played more regularly. He's just at the wrong club. I still think there's a good player there. I think there's a good player there. Anyway, get your comments in on that. What do you think about McTominay going? Is it the right thing to do? And also, interesting there, as I said, McTominay's about ready to go. It's Ineos driving this. Ten Hag would be okay keeping him as a bench option. but Napoli need to get some money in to get him in as well. Get your comments in below. Also, if Eriksen goes, we're probably going to get Amrabat as well. 8 o'clock show tonight. Some really good topics to bring in. But get your comments in below. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. What are your thoughts? Take care. And don't forget, I'm live on That's Football. Chelsea against Man City. Come on, Chelsea. Be great if they beat Man City, wouldn't it? I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching.